This is Uncle Manifesto, the leading world expert on manifesto as a literary form. Today, the Communist Manifesto. It was August 1844. Marx and Engels met at the Cute Chess Cafe, where the goats Paul Morphy used to play, somewhere in the Premier Arrondissement. I still can't believe what happened next. Engels is an inspiration. He sat there across from Marx, and Marx admitted that he thought Hegel was kind of cool. And Engels did not immediately batter him with a chessboard. Hegel is the foulest intellectual shit snake ever to squirm through the crannies of God's garden. Not cool. So they sat down and wrote a manifesto. Coming into this, all I knew about communism I learned from really hot short trans masks, 2 beers deep, shouting directly into my ear at 3 in the morning. I assumed that dialectical materialism was some kind of homoerotic conspiracy, and I wanted in. Needless to say, the text was disappointing. Not only did it not explain dialectical materialism, but there wasn't one dripping teaspoon of eroticism. I expected more from 2 gay commies. Here's the TLDR. The bourgeoisie is the best thing that's happened to humanity since the first human discovered, with great relief, that they didn't have to work. All they had to do was find some slaves and confabulate natural philosophical worldviews in which feudal lordship and the generational deprivation of peasants represent the organic, ecstatic dance of humanity under the eyes of God. A God who the bourgeois marginalized, except to trot out as a glorified meat puppet to consecrate the global expansion of supply lines to penetrate and metabolize every leaf and stone and drop of sweat into pure cash value. And God bless them for it. This is something I didn't get about Marx till now. He sees the beauty of capital, of rapacious industrialism, of the pervasive intellectualization of selfishness which finally degloved the iron-fisted authority of tradition, and he is thankful for it. He's thankful that the bourgeois, quote, has simplified class antagonisms. Society as a whole is more and more splitting up into 2 great hostile camps. He hails the bourgeoisie, like evangelicals hail Trump as the Antichrist, like EAC degens hail OpenAI for getting up on the problem of alignment. Let the apocalypse come. Let the singularity come. Our sickness can only be cured by death, so its cure is inevitable. It's only a matter of when, and he thinks the answer is now. History has chosen its fighters, bourgeoisie and proletariat, and prepared them for the last battle. The Communist Manifesto is a hyperstitious, self-consciously self-fulfilling prophecy, insisting both that revolution is inevitable and that it depends on your participation. So I'm just assuming that you're a pro, but of course you're probably not. Probably just rank and file, cucked petty bourgeois like me. But anyways, I fucking hate it when people pretend like they can read history before it's been written. Like any of us can do better than brute prediction. But it must be a hell of a rhetorical strategy if it raised armies across the world, be though as it may that those armies marched off the edge of a cliff, and God knows what they'll find at the bottom. I hope Marx was right. I hope that we're dashed on the rocks of utopia. I hope that everything that dies someday comes back. The tendency to pretend to any kind of scientific epistemology here kind of pisses me off. We should dismiss claims about the science of history the same way we dismiss claims about the science of phrenology. Our destiny is not written in the shapes of our skulls. Our destiny is not written in a language any human can understand. It's the Higgs boson. It's a philosopher's stone. It's a Uzi. It's a Wazi. So sure, this shit was historically significant, but the question that I came in with is, should you read the manifesto? Why shouldn't you just get ChatGPT this shit out of the summary? Why shouldn't you just hit up Wikipedia and call it a day? A couple things to consider. There are a few moments where you get the sense that they might be clever fucks. For example, this passage that speaks to the UBI hopefuls of today. It's a gotcha that would still work on MSNBC. It has been objected that upon the abolition of private property, all work will cease, and universal laziness will overtake us. According to this, bourgeois society ought long ago to have gone to the dogs, through sheer idleness. For those of its members who work acquire nothing, and those who acquire anything do not work. We don't have to run pilot studies to see what people do when money is not an option. We can look to the rich. If they're lazy fuckers, then meritocracy is a mug's game and laziness should be universally distributed. If they get jobs, then there is no reason to think UBI recipients wouldn't get jobs too. I also like the semi-nonsensical, semi-feminist ad hominems on bourgeois sexuality. Our bourgeois, not content with having wives and daughters of their proletarians at their disposal, not to speak of common prostitutes, take the greatest pleasure in seducing each other's wives. Bourgeois marriage is, in reality, a system of wives in common. That's funny. I laughed. It also points to an element that I hadn't clocked at any of my late-night, half-cocked seminars. The commies were feminists. The real point aimed at is to do away with the status of women as mere instruments of production. Respect to Marx and Engels for shouting out women when everybody knows to their audience, to this day, basically hates women. And when the manifesto leans into a pseudo-religious, eschatological mood, it has some bangers. With the rise of the bourgeoisie, all fixed, fast-frozen relations with their train of ancient and venerable prejudices and opinions are swept away. All new-formed ones become antiquated before they can ossify. All that is solid melts in the air, all that is holy is profaned, and man is at last compelled to face with sober senses his real conditions of life and his relations with his kind. The parts of the text that approach this level of sermonization are kind of hypnotizing. It's too bad the spell keeps being broken by the awkward attempt to tell a realistic high-level story about the emergence and transformation of the working class. The closer the text gets to embracing a mythic self-image, the closer I get to handing out little red books. Let's talk score. They get fair points on prose style and flair. There are a few gags, plenty of memorable quotes, and a quiet sense of poetry. A reason not to go with ChatGPT. They lose some points on messaging where they tailspin into jargon, analytic style without analytic rigor, and raise questions about their own views they don't answer. Some reasons to prefer ChatGPT. Middling points on contemporary relevance. I don't see communism in any practical or theoretically tenable form in the 21st century drawing on the language of the manifesto. And the language is what's in question here. If you want to practice Marxism today, skip the original text and go straight to the bots. All in all, I'm feeling a solid 6 on this one. Probably not worth reading unless you're trying to get some attention from cute boys. And I am. Remember to like, subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments below. And send your uncle a little something something. Come on. Remember all those birthdays I gave you 20 bucks? Time to give those 20 bucks back. You owe me about $100.